Hi, everybody. I have a question for you. Have you ever wanted to do applique but couldn't stand the idea of cutting out all those little pieces with your scissors by hand? That's what kept me from doing applique. I just didn't have time to do all that. It wasn't until I experienced Sue Pellin Designs and her method of rotary cut applique. So we are going to show you a couple things. We're going to show you one of her templates that allows you to cut multiple pieces at one time, which for me is the answer. And we're also going to show you first Misty Fuse. I can't stand fusing something on and having to peel it, making sure it's backwards, see, I don't know any of that. So with Misty Fuse, you don't have to worry about that. And I'm in love with Misty Fuse. If it weren't for Misty Fuse and Rotary Cut Applique, I would not be appliquing. To give you an idea, I'm going to have Tara pan over to Season's Greetings. And I made this a while ago. It's not completely done yet. You can tell it's not quilted. But all those pieces were made with rotary cut applique. I did not hand cut anything except the words. The words I had to. But the holly leaves, the berries, all was done with rotary cut applique. And all of those pieces have Misty Fuse on the back. So I want to show you how to do Misty Fuse. It's not difficult. It just is a learning curve like everything else. First of all, you're going to want some kind of Teflon sheet, okay? I use Fat Goddess sheets. Do not be offended. The reason they're called Fat Goddess is they're large enough for a fat quarter, okay? I have two of them. They come one in a pack, but I have two of them because I want to protect my surface, and I tend to use very large pieces and just keep moving it back and forth. I'm going to show you a smaller piece for, time's sake. They will have square corners and rounded corners. What I do is I take a rounded corner and I put a notch. That way I know that this notch will always go in the bottom left hand, because what you want to do is make sure that whatever side is against the Misty Fuse then does not go against fabric later. You will also clean it off occasionally. So I'm going to take my first one, and I'm very uncoordinated. These things slide all over the place. Let's talk fabric. Your fabric has to be washed without detergent. So I tend to use Dreft, or I use I use the Dawn dish liquid. And what you want to do is get all the chemicals off your fabric, because the Misty Fuse won't adhere to it if there's chemicals. Now, I'm not a fabric washer. I'm not. But for this, I do. Because if you don't, they won't stick. There's a lot of chemicals that go into making. And I do a lot with batiks. These are not, but I do a lot with batiks, and they have a lot of chemicals on them. So you're going to take your piece. I picked a small piece for the sake of doing this quickly. And you're going to lay it down, face down. We're going to put the Misty Fuse on the back. We wouldn't put it on the front. We're going to put it on the back. Misty Fuse, which ran away on me. Hang on. I brought my own, but Tara is going to show you a pack while I'm getting this out. Misty Fuse is very, very light. I don't even know if you can see this. Okay, that's one sheet of it. So what you're going to do, I'm going to move my iron because I do not want Misty Fuse to touch an iron until I'm ready. And it never touches it directly. I'm going to lay it down. I have made sure that my piece is 12 inches because this Misty Fuse is 12 inches wide. Now my piece is actually a little more than 12 inches because I've got some frayed edges here from washing it, which will get cut off when I'm ready to use this, okay? So I am placing it, and I'm going to ask Tara to grab me a pair of scissors somewhere so that I can trim this off. I forgot to bring them out here. And sometimes Misty Fuse likes to give you a hard time. It is stretchy, so it'll behave eventually. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the end. I don't want to use too much. I don't want to waste too much Misty Fuse. I'm a very frugal on fabric, on Misty Fuse, on everything. So now I've got it on there. I'm going to take my Misty Fuse and get it out of the way, because if you don't, it'll get on everything as soon as you put that iron down. So I've got it laying down. I'm sure you can't see that because it's so light. Now I'm going to take my other sheet. I'm going to put my notch in the bottom left corner, and I've got it completely covered. And then with a hot iron, I'm just going to iron it on like you do all other fusibles. Okay? One thing I will tell you about Misty Fuse, a couple things. First of all, it loves heat. It's not like some that if you heat it too much, the glue goes away. Misty Fuse never does that, okay? I mean, maybe if you put the heat on it and walk away, but I don't think that's what you're going to do. So I am making sure I hit the whole thing. And I'm holding it for, I don't know, not really stopping. I'm just moving. And then I'm going to go the other way just to make sure I didn't miss any spots. Make sure you get the edges. It's really easy not to get the edges. You can go over because you have this Teflon sheet on here. It's not going to hurt anything. And you're going to make sure you've covered your whole piece, which with little pieces is easy. It's when I do half yards at a time, and then it's a little more difficult. And speaking of making sure you get the whole thing, I probably did the job too well. If you go to remove the top sheet, okay, I'm going to let it sit here for a minute, cool a little bit, not much, okay? I'm going to test. See how it's stuck there? I'm going to pull it down and pull back. I did such a nice job. If you see fibers here, meaning the Misty Fuse fibers, you didn't heat it well enough. So you would put it back down and press it some more. But if you don't see any fibers and you peel this back and it's tacky, you did a good job. Okay? So I'm just going to, see how easy that comes off there? That is so cool. And I'm going to lay this over here. And I don't know if you're going to see the difference. I really don't know.
Yeah, I can see it.
It should be shiny.
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm going to let this rest for 15 minutes. So what I do is I do a piece, and then I have a clothes rack, and I lay it over the clothes rack. One big, very important thing, don't lay it so that these touch, because they'll stick together, and then you've wasted it all. Lay it so that this is on the clothes rack, and they lay free of each other. Let it cool 15 minutes, and it will no longer be tacky. It'll be shiny, but it won't be tacky. And then you've got it fused. And you can fuse a whole bunch of them and just keep right on going. I have an entire tote. Now, that brings up another point, that I have a tote that I've probably had for 2 years. And when I take it out, they're wrinkled because they were folded in there. So what I do is I get my sheets out, lay it down again, and give it a quick press. If it doesn't feel like it's sticky at all, give it a spritz. It likes water too, steam. Do not use any starch whatsoever, because again, you're adding chemicals, and that will affect how well it adheres to what you're putting it on. So we're ready to show you how to cut these with the rotary cutter. Okay? We'll be back.